Okay. Aunty Donna sent a request to be in a live video. Oh my god. This should go live now. Yes. Mark! What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think someone forgot they were supposed
Broden
to be
forgot?
on live with you.
Fuck, Broden? We had an email correspondence yesterday. I thought he was in.
I'm so sorry. I was just on Instagram randomly, and I'm supposed to be doing a trivia with my friend.
Do you want to have a
partner.
phone? Do you want to
I
have
would
an
love to
interview?
have a phone conversation with you,
sure?
Ferg. Of
All right,
course.
These questions are all designed. I mean, it says, "Who do you prefer?"
I'll answer them as Broden. It's fine.
All right.
Don't change your thing.
I'll keep it going.
I'll adapt to you, my friend.
Do you know where Broden is currently?
I think he's visiting his parents.
Oh fuck, Broden! He not only has he not made the interview, he's breaking social protocol.
I think it's okay. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that this
That's
is. I'm
okay.
so sorry you got me. I apologize that you
Mark, I
have
can't
to
tell
do
you
this with
the
me.
shock when your face turned up in the chat.
I didn't know, so I'm like, should I accept this? I'm just sitting here looking, and then I put the sound on, and then I've got you being like, oh God, he's not answering. Oh no, what am I gonna do?
Oh god.
And I was like, oh shit, I don't know, I don't know.
Because I said the request, and then I reckon it was when it got to 8:07, I'm like,
Yeah.
Broden, you sly dog.
You slide dog?
Hello, how you doing? Welcome to Fair Goes Live, brought to you by Beat Magazine. That was the Instagram live that I did with Aunty Donna. All right, what happened? Not these bloody bastards, Broden Callie. All right, I've interviewed Aunty Donna 3 times. All right, I know him pretty well. When we've run into each other at comedy gigs before, we've said hello. You know, we're not having fucking cups of teas at each other's house, but you know, we say hello and we know each other. All right, I've had like a 20-minute conversation with Broden at a comedy gig before, you know, and then so we organised for Broden Callie to come on the podcast. All right. Day before, I said, Broden, you're good to go? He said, yeah, Ferg. I'll do the Broden voice. Yeah, Ferg, I'm good to go, mate. I'm good to go. I'm like, all right, thanks, Broden Callie. Talk to you soon, Broden Callie. Bye. Love you, Broden Callie. And then the next day, 8 o'clock, all right, if you've seen the Instagram live, you were there, right? I was waiting for 10 minutes. And then Mark Bonanno, all right, Mark Bonanno, you say banana, I say banana. You know, it doesn't really matter how you pronounce it. He's a lovely man, all right? He's a bloody, every time I've done an interview, you know, I've always said, you know, Mark's my favourite out of Broden, Zach and Mark, you know? Mark happened to be randomly scrolling through Instagram and he saw that Beat Magazine was live with Aunty Donna. He thought, hang on, I'm in Aunty Donna. He went over to have a look. I think he was drinking, right? He was with friends. He saw me having a panic attack going, where's Broden? Broden, you left, you know, like I'm sure Broden's just like, there's a trail of broken hearts, you know, dates that he hasn't showed up on before. So now I'm waiting. Mark turns up. At the start, I was like, where the fuck's Broden? I mean, I love Mark, you know, but when you organise to be a Broden, you want to be a Broden. All my questions were centered around Broden. Then Mark came on. And, you know, I think this is one of the best podcasts of the series. Serendipitously, Mark has saved the day. Mark, if you're out there, I bloody love you, all right? You're a hero. You're an absolute legend, all right? I honestly think, Mark, you got progressively more drunk in the interview. Have you guys have a listen. I mean, I could have edited this podcast. I think it's like 50 minutes. The last 20 minutes, I don't think I say anything. I think I nod my head a lot and go, yeah, Mark, you know, but it's interesting. I think, you know, he get people commenting while we're doing this. This is like the first time they've seen Mark kind of serious, you know, for parts where he talks about how the origin story for Aunty Donna. He talks about Broden, Zach and him at university in Ballarat. Can you imagine them 3 on university campus, rocking around, playing down ball, serving pud to people? That'd be a bloody riot. They must have been kings of the rat. Kings of Ballarat, you know, they're down at the bloody Ballarat Hotel or whatever they have. What's it called in Ballarat? I think it's called the Bluestone. Ballarat listeners know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I put that. I mean, if you're not a huge Aunty Donna fan, the last 20 minutes probably isn't for you, all right? Because we go deep Aunty Donna. Otherwise, I think this is a terrific interview, all right? I'm partially illiterate. That's all right. Leave us a 5-star review, all right? Share this on social media. Tell your mum, tell your dad, try and, just do something, We appreciate your love and support, all right? My name's Fergus Neal. This is Ferg Goes Live with Aunty Donna, a.k.a. The Roasts of Broden Callie by Fergus Neal and Mark Bonanno. Because I said the request, and then I reckon it was when it got to 8:07, I'm like, Broden, you sly dog.
You sly dog? Well, I did, Ferg. I thought better or lesser Donna than no Donna at all.
Yeah. Were you tuning in and thinking, oh, I'm looking forward to watching Broden, perform?
I was just going through my thing. I was just going through the feed, and I saw Beat Magazine was live, and I was like, oh, and then I clicked on it, and then I saw you having a panic attack. And so then I tried to.
This is amazingly serendipitous.
I know, and then I tried to get in touch with Broden, and I couldn't.
Right.
So then I was like, well, I want to at least make sure that you have someone to talk to.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a nicer surprise. I was actually secretly hoping that you would pick up the phone. This is when like calling a date and then like the dad picks up, that's Broden, and you're like, you're my dream person. All right, I mean, question one, Broden, thank you so much for coming on the show.
So good to be here, and I remembered. Which is good.
How have you been surviving COVID?
I've been fine. I just been trying to, good days and bad days. And just sometimes you get a bit sad, and then there's nothing to distract you. So far, I've played all of the Uncharted games.
Okay.
Which has been fun. I'm halfway through Lost Legacy at the moment, the last Uncharted game. So I've been doing that. I've tried to learn the drums. which is to varying degrees of success. Although I do have my first little blood blister from playing too much.
Have you ever seen that film Whiplash?
I love Whiplash.
The drumming film?
Yes, it's a great film. It's a great film.
He drums so hard that his hands are blistered and he has to put them in the ice bath. Are you at that level yet?
No, God, no. I can play Back in Black, and I can play a very sloppy chop suey. But it's been a lifesaver. Like, I don't want to do it. It's probably like I'm literally just doing it because I found like the first couple of weeks I was getting really physically antsy, and there was nothing I could do, and I just couldn't stare at a screen anymore. I was like, if I have to keep looking at a screen, I don't know what I'm going to do. And, I'd go for walks, but then I'd come back and I just had nothing for my body to do. So I was like, I guess I kind of always wanted to try and learn an instrument. So, I'll never have time for it beyond here to at least give it a kickstart. So that's where that came from. And it has been good. It keeps my body occupied when my mind doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask Broden if you three lived in the same house, but you don't live in the same house, do you?
God, no. My goodness, no. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Fuck no, man. Jesus Christ. No. No, we don't. And we never have.
You never have?
Well, I mean, there's been times when we've been on, like when we've done Edinburgh. When we've done Edinburgh, we've all had to live in the same house, and recently we were working in America, where some of us lived in one house, and then we split up and lived in a couple of different houses. So we can, and it's fine. But no, I like to, a little bit of time apart's a good thing, Ferg. It's a good thing.
When you met at the University of Ballarat, what was the first time you three came together? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty interesting because it wasn't. I mean, so I'm the eldest in the group, not by much, but I'm a little bit older, and I had like
You don't look
3
it, Mark.
years. Oh well, that's just that old Sicilian blood coursing through my veins. But that's very kind of you. But I was a year below Broden and Zach, and also Tom, who does our music, and also Sam, who writes with us. They were all in the same acting year level, and they were all a year above me. I had a couple of years off. So they all worked very closely together, because even though there's like 3 different years of acting and musical theatre at any one time when we're at uni, you really do just, you know, with the 24 people or so that are in your class, they sort of become your friends. You become very tight with them, and it's rare that you'll sort of have friends or be close to other people or work with other people outside of your year level, right? Because all of your work is done in those classes, and all the end of year shows are done in those classes. So they all went through those 3 years together, whereas I didn't. I was sort of just behind them. I was a year, you know, connecting with my people, and they're all connecting. So they were always going to do something together. I think that was always the plan. And the way I sort of snaked my way in there was because someone had written a student play. When you're in 3rd year, you can write your own play if you want, put on your own play. And it's a classic Harrison Ford in Star Wars situation. That's that story that happens here, right? Zach was directing this student play. He had cast Broden, and he knew that I was a bit of a wild card. And that, you know, I could go from like 0 to 100 if I needed to. And he asked me to read lines for someone to like read opposite someone. He had no intention of casting me in this play. But he was like, can you just like, you know, just go for it, just to get the other actors like up as a favor? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I did it, and Zach was like, maybe actually Mark might be right for one of these roles. And then he put me in that play. And so then the first time we ever worked together was in this different sort of scenario where Zach was directing and Broden and I were acting. But what we all realized was, it was like, we all kind of clicked. Like they had their click in their year level, and they were like, oh, and we found this other guy in the year level below us that sort of also clicks with us and sort of also gets our sense of humor and is funny and that we like. So when they graduated and they went, you know, they all got together and were like, let's do something funny. Let's try and do comedy. They're like, who else would work in this? And they thought of me. And then they asked me, and I was like super excited, because they were like, they were like the cooler, even though I was older than them, they were like the cooler older kids, because they were a year above me. They had more knowledge than me. So that was the first moment, and Tom Armstrong, who does our music, was the lead in that play as well, which is just a weird thing. Hasn't acted since.
And then, so was it like a particular like gig or like first show or first sketch that happened where you thought, oh wow, we've got something here, and like you'll become the Donna that you are now?
Oh yeah, man. Like there were a couple of moments, I suppose, but the one that really comes to mind, that always comes to mind when people ask that, was like, so when we were first writing together in our first year, because the boys very sweetly waited for me to finish uni before we did anything, and I've been super lucky. You know, I had like 3 gap years after high school where I did nothing but bartend and blew up my car twice, and like saved no money, and was like a real, just like fucking had no idea what I wanted to do. Thankfully fell into this acting course and met these guys. But they had a year outside of uni where they were like trying to make it as actors, and there was no work, and it was super disheartening, and it was very difficult. And they sort of waited for me to finish, so then we could do something together. So I was very lucky in the sense that I finished uni And I think literally, like, I think I finished on the Tuesday, and then the Thursday we started rehearsals for our comedy festival show. And we'd never written anything. We just applied for comedy festival and went, let's see what happens. And we'll like, because, writers need a deadline, that kind of thing, right? So like, let's just give ourselves a really hard, scary deadline, and we'll give ourselves 3-4 months to write our first show. And we were writing them in library meeting rooms all throughout the Yarra area, right?
Okay.
And this one in particular happened in Carlton Library.
I know that library, yeah.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Meeting room upstairs, tiny little space. And so we're in there, and it was just me, Zach, and Broden that day, because we all had fucking jobs, and everyone, like it wasn't set rehearsal times or anything. We would just that week go, who's available, when are people available, and if more than 2 of us were available at any one time, we'd get together and we'd do it. Because Adrian was in the group at this time, but he was also studying a Masters of Business. He's gone on now to be a defense attorney, I believe. Anyway, that's a tangent. So we're in there, and I had this idea because I had just had an experience at a friend's house where they were trying to get their Xbox voice activation to work. They were like, hey, check out this, because, this was before Google Home and shit. And voice activation was like a thing of the future. And yes, hello, chat, by the way, it is me, Broden. And so anyway, they were trying to show me how their Xbox voice activation works, and they just couldn't get it to work. It kept being like, hey, Xbox, play this game, and it just kept playing music, right? It kept just doing something else, and I was fucking losing it. I just thought it was the funniest thing. I wrote it down in my little book, and then I brought that to the guys, and I was like, this happens, maybe we can make a sketch out of this. And so we were trying, and it wasn't really working, and it wasn't really getting there, and it didn't make any sense. And then we sat down and we were talking about the improv, and we were like, it's not really going, it's something about it just isn't clicking. And then Zach was like, oh, have you heard that with voice activation things in Scotland, they really struggle because they cannot understand the accent? And then we all just went, oh, and then Zach got up, he tried it, did it in a Scottish accent, and then it was just like, it worked. And that ended up being one of the like really big popular sketches from our first show that we then took over to Edinburgh when we went to Edinburgh for the first time, and it absolutely smashed in Edinburgh. Yeah. And we tried to film it a couple of times. It was part of our first web series. We've never quite gotten it right on film, unfortunately, because it's a difficult one to get right, because the rhythms of it are so live. But that was one of the first moments I remember of all of us being like, oh, there's magic here, like when we get it right. And we're so excited. We went to lunch, we're full of energy, we're like, fuck yeah, we did, one of our first big breakthroughs. We came back and we wrote nothing for the rest of the day. We couldn't think of it. We were like completely just like, we had nothing left in the pipe, unfortunately.
And also seems of recent, like even through this COVID stuff, that you guys have entered like a new level and like a new, like entering into fruition. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think you guys have, it's maybe seemingly from an outsider's perspective, it seems like Aunty Donna has like gone up levels of recent.
That's kind of you to say.
Well, I think that's like a public consensus as well.
Really? I don't know if I know of this. Care to elaborate? With the podcasts, or like
podcasts, and also just in terms of like, I think because inside comedy circles people worship you and love you, and then now I think like it's like everyday Bobby on the street, they'll be like, have you heard of Aunty Donna? Oh fuck, I love that sketch. It's almost like entering into mainstream culture. Why do you think that shit has happened? Even for instance, I'll give you an example. The guy who I get my coffee from, who's like this 50-year-old man, would never expect, maybe potentially wouldn't expect like an Aunty Donna fan, does the pud thing, just come on, give me a little bit of pud. He does that. God.
So, we found out.
I was like,
I'll go, please.
I was like, holy shit! You like Aunty Donna's now hitting demographics that maybe you wouldn't think would be your demographic. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's some like I found out recently that you know the show The Boys, the Amazon Prime show The Boys superhero show. They do a bit of put on the set of Amazon Prime.
Far out.
And then I also heard, and I don't know if this is true. But somebody fucking told me. Someone told me they worked on the set, right, of I think it might have been Hell's Kitchen, and Gordon Ramsay would reference breakfast goat.
Far out.
Right? Which is like, I don't know if that's true, but that is what fucking someone told me. So that's what someone told me. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Don't hold me to that. But that's what I was told, right? But it's you know, I think it's just that thing. I mean, you know, it's like the beauty of the internet. Like, you know, no one's really. You know, we're much bigger in Australia than we are anywhere else, but it gives you that it gives you the chance to be international and like shit, man. Like I get recognized when I go to Disneyland in America, in Anaheim. Like people stop me and are like, "Want a photo? You're Mark from Aunty Donna." Which like blows my mind. And I went around America and I followed this band called Mr. Bungle, who I'm obsessed with. They did some reunion shows. Have you heard of them, Ferg? Do you know Mr. Bungle? They're like this old band. And anyway, I love them. They haven't released music for 20 years. And just like, it was in New York and San Francisco and LA. And at every show, someone stopped me and recognized me.
Wow.
And it's mind blowing, man. It's like, well, how and why? And I guess that's just the power of the internet. But it's also, I mean, to be like, you know, it's sometimes it's hard to talk like this. But also, we've just been putting everything into this for 8 years, like genuinely everything, and have sacrificed everything, and no one has wanted anything else other than the success of this group. And sometimes that happens and it doesn't work out, and we've just been lucky enough that we just put laser focus on this idea, on this project, and it's managed to break through, and we've started to, I think in some ways, become that household name in Australia, purely just through like perseverance, man. Like purely just through, just like honestly, like just through doing it and being lucky enough to have those successes along the way, and just keep pursuing it. You know, we've never given it up, no matter how many times we've fallen or how many times we've been rejected or told or been said no. We've always believed in it to an absurd degree. And that's allowed us, I think, to go on and do this, which has been really cool.
Is it weird thinking back to that student production where yourself, Zach and Broden met? Could you have ever envisioned in that context that you would achieve the success that you have now? Like, did you always have a game plan to pursue something as, okay.
No, I don't know. I guess no, we did. I think we did. I think we did. I think it's still a massive surprise because, like, you know, because I guess you're always like, why us? You know, like none of us come from families that have other people in the arts or ever saw it as a possibility or saw the stepping stones into how this can be a thing. You know, like my mum was a teacher and my dad was a butcher type thing, and like I don't think, and both my brother and I turned out fairly artistic, which is strange, probably because we grew up in such a non-artistic place that I don't know. It's like you rebel against that, you know, or like, but it's also the kind of art that you're introduced to, you know, like. I saw Memento and Donnie Darko when I was like 14, and I was like, oh, you know, there's weird stuff out there that I like and engage with in a way, and then your brain goes, maybe I can do that kind of stuff one day, you know. But we did. I think from the start we've always had very, very ambitious goals. And we've always set those goals. Like we've always got, at any one time, we've always had a 6-month plan, a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, and a 5-year plan. You know, like that we have those meetings, and and all through, especially the early days, much more so in the early days, it was always like, what are our goals? How do we achieve them? Let's set about trying to achieve them, and then reassess once we get to this spot. So it's like, while it is surprising, it hasn't felt like it's just happened all of a sudden. It's been a very methodical, gradual sort of like just ticking of boxes. And it's like, oh, that little step, oh good, you know, like we wanted to get funding from Screen Australia, great, we got some. Or we want to be on the ABC, oh great, we did that. It's like those little goals that we set ourselves, and it's you know, it's really helped. It's been the best way to get to where we are. So it's like, it's a weird yes and no, because does anyone ever expect it? I maybe not. But we were always ambitious enough to dream this big, if you will. You know.
So how big was your first show? Like, how many seats was it at the comedy festival, that first ever one?
It was upstairs at the Portland Hotel, which I believe is no longer exists. Okay. It was 50 seats. The first night they had to take out the back row because there was a leak in the building. So the back row was out, so it was 40 seats. Tiny, but we did Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights at 11 p.m. And it was wild. It was wild and terrifying and scary, and but yeah, tiny little room, man. 50 seater. I had
a weird introduction to you guys. I didn't find you online or live. Like, I found you in the street. I think it was like 2015. I was flyering for a friend's comedy festival show, and all these people came following you, Broden and Zach. And I was like to these guys, oh, who are you following? Who are you following? There's like loud music, like, oh, we're following Aunty Donna. They're doing a walking tour before their gig. And I'm like, oh, who's Aunty Donna? And they pointed at you, and you were crouched over, dressed in this like little, almost like a little Hagrid uniform, going up to people, and everybody was pissing themselves in the group. It felt like a party. And then that's kind of when I thought, I was like, whoa, who are those guys? You know, it was almost like Beatlemania on a very, you know, localized scale of like your hardcore fans. And imagine what that group of hardcore fans think now, you know, having seen you guys blow up. They'd be like, we were following them at the front of the town hall back in 2014, 2015. Like,
and we've got to know some of them as well, like some of those fans that have been around the start. I still remember that was the first year when we did the walking bus, which was just a way, like Wednesdays are the slowest night, you know, because you've got Monday nights off for the festival, usually when it's on, when it hasn't been shut down because of a global pandemic. You've got Monday nights off, usually. And then you do Tuesdays, which are cheap-ass Tuesdays, right? Wednesdays, which there's nothing special about them, right? And then Thursday, Friday, you start to go into the weekend. People will go out on a Thursday night, Friday definitely, Saturday, Sunday, like, you know, you usually set. But Wednesdays are the hard sell. So we were like, well, let's try and entice people by doing a walking tour where we brought people around the different parts of the city, and then did like silly little things. And we did it that first year, and that was the first year. No, it was our third show. We were at. Oh, the other reason we wanted to do it is because we were in town. Trades Hall.
And
everyone's like, Trades Hall, fuck that, it's too far. And we're like, it's actually walking distance, and we're desperate to get audiences in. It's really hard to get audiences into Trades Hall. So we're like, we got to do something. And so we tried that. And but it was that third year was the first time we ever had fans, like people who had seen us on the internet and then gone, oh, now I know that they do live shows, and I'm going to come and see their live shows, and then like want to meet us after the show. That was the first year that ever happened. And it was sometimes it was really interesting and fun and cool, and other times it was a bit full on, because it was also our first year without Adrian after we lost a member. And there was one night.
Losing Adrian?
Oh, it's huge, man. Oh, it's huge. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was bigger for some people than others, but like Adrian and Broden have known each other since high school.
Far
And one of the
out.
reasons, and he also went to Ballarat, but he was a year above Broden. So when I was in first year, Adrian was in third year. Broden's
Yeah.
like second, when we're in second year. Um, uh, One of the reasons Aunty Donna kind of started was because Broden and Adrian wanted to write together and do comedy together. And they were an incredible writing team. They were so great. And a lot of our early sketches are just like those two guys fucking around. And a lot of our voice, like just that sort of, that style of comedy came from them. Like they were, I would argue they was kind of the core of it. And then because they were the straight men as well, right? And then you had Zach and I that were the goofy ones, and we felt it was perfectly balanced, right? In the sense that it was like if it was like a straight line, you had like Adrian, who was the absolute straight man, right, on one end, and then you had kind of like Broden there as well. Oh no, I can't remember what the line was. I used to know. I'm not going to go into the line. I used to know first, and then I was
love
just
the
explaining
bailing
it, and I was
from
like,
the
I've
line
forgotten
metaphor.
what the line was. I've forgotten what it was. It used to be. I can't. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't
Don't
tell
worry
you.
about the line. Don't worry about the line.
It was so good. It was so good. I'm gonna remember it later. I'm gonna go, ah, shit. It was the line and the straight man and the. Anyway, it was a big deal because Broden lost his writing partner, but we also felt like we lost like the two straight men and the two goofy ones, and we had that sort of. We had that kind of balance. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, what do we have now? I guess it's a triangle. Does that still work? Does it not work? So that year was terrifying
Okay.
for so many reasons.
So now that you guys have kind of moved on from that initial stage, does Adrian, is he still kind of connected to the group, or is it like a Pete Best syndrome, or like what's Steve's feeling watching you now?
Oh, like the thing about Adrian is he went off to not pursue sketch comedy anymore.
Yeah.
Like he went off to do a very different thing because the like I'm 32 and I own some comic books, like that's kind of what I have to my name, and it's not easy. And like I was talking about, when I say we sacrificed everything, we really did just work shitty jobs that we hated. And I know everyone's kind of got to do this, but we would spend any free time we had working on Donna, and any time outside of that working and trying to survive and and live in the city so we could all be, close. So that life's not for everyone, man. And I don't know why it was for me, and I don't know why it is for some people, but for some people are able to persevere through it and some people aren't. And I think both are legitimate choices, and so he just wanted a different life, and I respect that and still really like him, and everyone's still friends with him. It's like it was very amicable, because by the end it was reaching that point where it was starting to be like, man, are you in, are you out? And he was like, oh, well, I think I'm out. And it was like, okay, that's fine. We regrouped, we thought it out. And then the good thing was that everyone that was left in the group were people who were like 100% committed. And that's when, things started. So like, Adrian's great and awesome. And I hope he doesn't have any regrets, because there's really nothing to regret. There really isn't, because to get to where we are now would have been
just climbing up the city.
So many years of shit and struggle. It's so easy to look at it now and go, oh, I bet you regret it. It's like, maybe now, but I bet you don't regret the fucking 6 years of living week to week and like being unsure if you could pay your rent, No one's going to regret that.
Was there any like pursuit of happiness moment where there was like a particularly bad point where you guys like, holy shit, I don't know if I can actually keep going on with this? Or was it always there, that fire?
I think it was always there. I think it was definitely always there for us. Like we never, we've also been super lucky, man, like in the sense that we haven't had, that was our only major setback, right?
Yeah.
Like because we had like a little bit of early success on the internet, going after funding and those kinds of things have always, there's not a lot of times we've been told no. You know, there have been, you know, like we made some pilots that didn't work out for TV and stuff. And that's, you know, and that happens and that's fine. But other than that, there haven't been a lot of times where people have said no to us. And also we started creating a model where it didn't matter if people said no to us because, you know, we had YouTube. So it was like, all right, a TV network doesn't want it. Fine. We'll put our stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
We'll get popular there. And then we'll go say hello to the people in person when we tour live. So we created a model where it was like, it doesn't matter if people said no. And so that helped fuel that fire because it was constantly, just every year was a bigger year for us. And so we didn't have a lot of years where it plateaued, you know, like, I guess people would argue that maybe the last few years it's gone a bit flat, but for me, it just feels like it's been getting bigger and better every year. So it's easy to keep that fire alive when that happens, man.
Has this pandemic taught you anything, maybe in terms of, like, I know it's a big time for reflection and people kind of on their life is on pause really and they're looking back, and I was talking to Will Anderson last night and he said he's kind of realized that he's on like 25 comedy festivals in a row and now he's spending more time at home and maybe his like value system is altering. Have you had any like similar, like a metamorphosis like that, or have you kind of, how have you viewed it?
I don't know. Like I don't know. That's a hard question. Because my life has always been a bit more sporadic and hasn't had as much. Like, I guess because we didn't do Comedy Festival last year for a number of reasons. I know it looks like I'm in an earthquake, but I can't sit and talk. I have to.
I like it. It's more dynamic.
Yeah. So I am sorry about that.
Just see your head.
Yeah. So for me, to be completely honest, I've once again super lucky. It has come at such a great time because we've just come off the back of the biggest project we've ever done in our lives, which unfortunately I can't talk about.
Wow. So something coming out that's like you guys have put an enormous amount of work into.
Yeah, if that's what you reckon.
Yeah, this is live, so be careful what you say.
So look, all I can say is it's the biggest project we've ever done. It's super. It's the best thing we've ever done. I'm so excited about it. But we literally arrived home from sort of finishing our work on it, and that's when like, the 2-week mandatory self-isolation happened. Like that legislation passed at midnight and we landed at 5 a.m. So the pilot told us as we landed. So, and we've still been working on it while we've been home. So like we still work every day and talk every single day and are still doing the podcasts and stuff, which is great. But I needed a break, dude. Like I needed a break. Yeah. And so honestly, it's been fucking great. It's just been great.
I appreciate that, honestly. Yeah, for some people it's been a huge like reinvigoration of life through them. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm grateful for stuff. Like I'm super, and I know not everyone's in that position, and I know how lucky I am. Like I know how incredibly lucky I am. But yeah, like I've taken the opportunity to try and do something I've always wanted to do, which was like learn an instrument. And I'm just going to be a shit drummer for the rest of my life now, but better than no drum. So you know, like, I don't know. And I just been,
it's been good.
Yeah. That's okay
I
to
really,
say.
because it's that weird thing where when we were working, I was going out and socializing a lot, and I'm not usually a very social person, bit of an introvert, which may surprise some people, but like, I don't know, I'm like a Charlie Brown. I get really like nervous at parties. I don't know what to
Shy?
say. I find it weird being around people I don't know. I get
Yeah,
like
okay.
socially exhausted. Like if I go out with people or to like a dinner party, because I'm over 30 now, so you do dinner parties. And like so, and I'll be like talky and happy, and then I'll just reach a point where it's like I'm done. I can't
I have that a
fucking
bit as
talk.
well. Your mind
Yeah,
closes off.
yeah. I'm just like
You just get
exhausted. Socially,
vacant.
I'm exhausted. Can't
Yeah.
talk anymore. I can't do it. So I've always been a bit like that, but but I was like, but one thing, my plan when I got back to Australia was because my partner Naomi is very, very social,
Okay.
and I was like, I think I'm going to be more social when I get back to Australia and see people more, because I started when I was overseas. I realized I was like, I can go out, because because we were in Los Angeles for a while working, and so many Australians come through that city, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're Australian, I know you. Of like, let's we might not hang out if you're in Melbourne, but you're in LA, so let's go do something. That just
Yeah.
seems to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I realized, I was like, oh wow, I can like go out and have fun with people, because I was there with my partner and she always wanted to see people, and then like go to work the next day and be fine. And in Melbourne, I think I was in a bit of a rut where I was like, if I'm working the next day, I just want to go home. I don't want to do anything. And then I think I would socially isolate myself to even though I'm a bit of an introvert, probably was putting that on myself too much. I know I'm
Yeah.
rambling, by the way. I know I'm just rambling. But
No, I'm
my
interested
point
in this. You can see me
my
nodding.
point was
If I do this, that means stop.
my point being that I was like, that was kind of like my resolution for when I got back. And then I got back and the country was like, you're not allowed to do anything and see anyone ever. And I was like,
And
oh,
secretly-
okay. So I never had to make that become a thing. So
Maybe
I'm
you'll
happy
never
as a
have to
pig in
address
shit.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah,
bury it.
I'll forget about that by the time shit's happening again.
Hey, Mark, final question.
Yes.
What's the first thing, mainly because Instagram just told me we've got 10 minutes before it cuts the stream, which I know Broden would never give me this amount of time, so I'm appreciative of that already.
Yes, he would. He's a sweet boy.
He's a lovely
He's like,
fella, bro.
he pulled me out of a bind the other week because I said I was going to attend a guy's Zoom party for his birthday, and I just fucking forgot. I just forgot. And then Broden saw the message and jumped in and said hi, and then I remembered, and thankfully they were still going, but I felt like crap. So Broden and I have been pulling each other out of forgetful binds all COVID.
Yeah. I remember because I've done a couple podcasts with you guys at your factory in Brunswick, and there was one time where Zach forgot, but he was walking past, so he joined. I don't know if you remember that one, but like, I love that like serendipitous nature of Aunty Donna. You always get it when you get to interview them.
You'll get one of us. One of us will be floating around. There's that at any time, at any one time, unless all three of us are together. When we're separate, one of us will be doing fucking nothing, and you can get in touch with one of us. So
I
anyway,
think you had your dog. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
You
I
had
had
like your
Tarzan.
white fluffy little
Tarzan.
my
little cavoodle. Yeah.
I got a lot of reports
sweet.
back from that. It's like, oh yeah, we heard the dog barking. Like,
Yeah, the little bastard. He loves to bark. He loves to bark.
But yeah, final question. What are you going to do the first thing when you get out of isolation?
I'm going to see my dad and my nonna and my mum, probably in that order. Not that says anything.
There's a hierarchy.
But yeah, I haven't seen them since October last year. I haven't seen any of my family since October last year.
Far
because
out.
because that's when we went overseas to work on this project, and then, as I said, the day I landed, you had to start self-isolating.
Holy man.
So yeah. So yes, and by the way, anyone that listens to the podcast, my nonna is not dead. I said nana. I thought that would be clear enough for people in here. I ended the last podcast by saying my nana's dead. It was
I was going to say,
pretty-
someone commented that. Someone's like, oh, that's, what did they say? Oh, that's good, they're not dead. I'm like,
Yeah, don't worry. No. She's fine. She had a fall the other day. She was taking out the
Okay.
kitty litter. She had a fall, but she's all right. She's definitely not dead.
That's good to hear.
But she did have a fall.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I just because my family's all split up now. Like my mum's moving to Brisbane soon, and my dad's now out in Geelong. And my brother and I live kind of close, which is nice, but I don't have that sort of close, tight knit sense of family anymore. So that's been a bit rough, not being able to see my pop and see my nonna.
What do they think of your success?
Oh, Nonna doesn't really know what's going on. She's an old Italian immigrant. The other one's got dementia, so she really doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't even remember me, which is heartbreaking to say the least. But Nonna, I don't think fully grasps the idea of being a celebrity. I think she knows that. I mean, not that I would say I'm a celebrity, but I guess people recognize me on the streets.
Yeah, recognize in Australia. Yeah.
Maybe that's
and
what it
Disneyland.
means.
Yeah.
And Disneyland. That's so weird when it
It's
happens
pretty
in
cool
Disneyland.
though.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like how?
Yeah.
It's like a needle in a haystack situation.
Did you get more excited than the fan?
Yeah, man. I was like, this is just unbelievable. It really broke my brain, and it's happened almost every time because I've been to Disneyland a lot, Ferg. I love Disneyland. Right? I really love Disneyland, and it's happened a few times. We've been there, but anyway, I can't remember what I was saying, but that's what what did I think of my success? Mum and Dad are both just happy that I found something because they were great. They, say what you will about the way they raised me. Oh no. But one thing that they did do really well, I think, was they never put any pressure on me to become anything. All they ever wanted was for me to be happy. So they were happy. They were really cool with me, fucking around and finding my feet and getting a real shit score at the end of year 12 because I wasn't passionate about anything and I hated studying and I wasn't very academic, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And they were like, that's cool. Take whatever time you need to figure that out. And I think, some people can drown in that kind of freedom. Lucky enough, I after 3 years, I found it and I started to swim. So I think they're just happy that something worked out for the second born. Because my older brother was did great in high school, got straight into uni, then started working for himself, and now he runs 2 companies. Killing it. But just not only killing it, but just in that very methodical, that's the way life is done kind of way. Whereas, his was very much just a steady line to the top and mine's been all squiggly. So I'm glad that they had the patience to put up with that. And I think they've just been really happy that it's worked out. As am I, Ferg. As I was worried about myself for a while there, mate. Oh my God.
Takes is I think I've seen that happen when people, they find a purpose or a drive and it completely alters the meaning in their life and where they're going. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Hey, Mark, thanks so much for coming on the show. By chance, this has been a great interview. It's been so much fun.
Oh, thanks, man. That's cool to hear.
What are you going to do now? Go back to your trivia game?
Yeah, probably go crash the trivia game.
Where do they think you've gone?
See how my partner's going. It's fine. She's
Okay.
fine. She's so much smarter than me, and like I barely contribute to the answers. So I'm sure she's crushing it without me. But we did win last week. We are the reigning champions. So so I'm gonna go do that. Maybe have a glass of water. Play some Uncharted Lost Legacy. Hello, Nikki. Nikki Aiken's in the chat. Oh, Nikki Aiken is an amazing writer, and she worked on another project with me. That the shoot got shut down because of COVID. My partner Naomi and I have written and Nikki have written a TV show for ABC, which should have been coming out this year, but it's probably going to come out next year now.
Okay.
But anyway, hello, Nikki.
So I think I'm saying I've got like 1 minute left before it ends.
Oh, shit.
So the project is it? So you can't say what it is, but it's coming out soon.
No, I can talk about that other one. The other one, myself and my partner Naomi and Nikki and our other friend Hum, we wrote a show called Why You Like This. That's coming out on ABC. We did the pilot for that the other year, but the Aunty Donna one I cannot talk about. No.
Big Aunty Donna thing on the horizon, but can't give any details.
No, I can't. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I wish I could, Ferg. I wish I could give you a hot scoop, Ferg.
Well, Max, send my love to Broden, and I'll see you guys on the flip side of this.
I will. Thank you so much. It was a great
you,
interview. Love you, mate. I'll see you soon.
Man. Love you, man. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Ferg Goes Live. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Follow me at FergieFerg1 on Instagram. Follow Beat Magazine on Facebook and Instagram. My name's Fergus Neal, and that was Ferg Goes Live.